Hello, everybody, and welcome back to episode 163 of Top Rope Reality. We've been gone for a little while. We're taking care of some business. We both have been on assignment.
That's true.
Well, we're back this week of Top Rope Reality. Now let's talk about some things that are so stupid.
We have a logo for that yet. We need a graphic for that.
I have a logo for it. See, I've been on assignment. I forgot to push the button.
Forgot to push the picture.
Forgot to push the button.
Exactly. Who booked this crap? That's good enough for that so stupid.
It is, yes.
Because what we are talking about is the 2018 Superstar Shakeup, because we can't call it a draft anymore.
We gotta shake it up.
There was one
Hey,
draft.
pal, we're gonna shake it up.
There was only one draft, and that's when the two brands split apart again. But after that, every time after that, it's only a Superstar Shakeup. And which I don't really like, number one. Before we even get to this year's, I don't like the Superstar Shakeup because it's just like, okay, we're in the middle of a segment. Oh, and look, Mrs. Music came on. Oh, he's on Raw now. It's not, it's not, hey, like
the
GMs come out and they barter back and forth, or they have the basket thing like the bingo thing, and they pull a name out like they did when it was Heyman and Bischoff, and they pull out the name and that's who it is. Which, I mean, of course that's rigged. It's like every name in the basket is that one person's name. Or guess what? They're all blank and their script tells them who to say. It could say Jim Bob Joe, and they say, oh, Spike Dudley. But
so when you draw this time, you're picking Samoa Joe, and you're picking Hulk Hogan. Okay,
right.
Roll the money machine.
But now it's just their music played, and that's fine.
They're on the show now.
They're on that show.
Yes.
So I don't really like that. But this year's especially has been lackluster.
Yeah.
Okay, and honestly, since this shakeup, I have been completely and utterly disappointed in Raw and SmackDown to the point of, besides you sending me the results, because I'm not able to watch because of my.
Don't say you're not allowed.
I'm not allowed because it's that horrible. I'm not allowing myself to watch it, but I am actually not able to because of my schedule. Yes. But it's just not interesting to me at this point. It's just the way they're booking the shows. I will still say that SmackDown is better than Raw. I will still continue to say that. But
yes, the redheaded stepchild, which is SmackDown.
But what I don't understand is moving these people around means nothing. It's like, okay, right now, Almost. Okay? First example. Almost comes from being the champion of NXT.
Yep.
Loses the belt, comes straight in from the Superstar Shakeup.
Yep.
Not seen on TV at all for weeks.
Nope.
And then does a backstage thing with Sin Cara.
Well, he had the two jobbers.
He had two jobber matches.
Then he missed a week.
Yeah, and then
he had the backstage segment with Sin
Cara. And then they haven't had a match until just now. Yeah, because their matches every week. Their match was the dark match before SmackDown even started. And of course, Almost winning. Almost wins on SmackDown. Yeah. We already know Sin Cara's a jobber. Why are we having this match on the kickoff show unless they're actually going to let Sin Cara win? And then that right there shows me that why? Almost is someone you're pushing. Sin Cara that gimmick was destroyed when the original Sin Cara had it.
Yeah.
It's doomed. So already,
I mean, I see they're trying to throw us in there. We were good friends.
And good friends, and now that he was there. I heard where on the YouTube video where they said that he was there when Almost lost his mask in Mexico. and he helped train him, and this, that, and the other.
But Selena Vega got involved, and she put a wedge in between the friendship. So, yeah.
It's ridiculous.
It is. It is.
So, and then Sanity.
I was going to say then Insanity.
Sanity wasn't on there. Like, they put them on the Superstar Shake-Up.
Okay, hold on. Almost. SmackDown, right?
SmackDown.
Sanity.
SmackDown.
Okay, we still on anything here? Because this goes into what I'm going to talk about in a few minutes.
So both of those acts go to SmackDown, and you don't see them for weeks.
Or months.
Or months. Because I can't keep up when the Superstar Shake-Up was.
I know, but yeah, that's true. Yep.
Okay, and then it helped Drew McIntyre in a way. I mean, really and truly. He went to Raw, but he's not a singles act yet. I honestly think the direction they're going to go is he's going to end up turning on Dolph eventually.
Yeah, it's the Shawn Michaels Diesel. That's
right.
what it is. Yeah.
That's exactly what they're doing. It's just not going to get over as well.
No.
But there's other characters too. I can't remember who all was part of the shake-up.
Well, Jinder. You're upset about Jinder.
Oh, they're hindering the Jinder, and now he's going back to the freaking gimmick that he had. Now you better get me riled up now.
Get riled up, brother.
Okay, now he's going back to the gimmick that he had when he was on Raw before he went to SmackDown and started getting the push, where he's literally doing the whole woosah and the meditation and the stay calm. He went back to that gimmick.
That's your writers for you.
He went to. I saw the backstage segment where he's talking to Seth, trying to tell him to woosah, relax, calm down, and then Seth walks out of the screen. I'm like, all right, he's destroyed right there. I mean, if you had nothing for him, why take him off of SmackDown? Okay, another one. Bobby Roode pushed on SmackDown, went to Raw. He's on a house show, losing to Mojo Rawley.
Yeah. There's an injury thing come up, but it was not true because he was on Raw the next.
Mojo Rawley.
Yeah.
Okay. What the heck?
I have no clue on that one. I know that is so bad.
Bobby Roode deserved to be in contention for the Intercontinental Championship.
Yeah.
Not fighting Mojo Rawley. What it is because you don't have a competitive, you don't have two competitive belts on Raw, you don't have enough stuff going on for these people. So, I mean, and it goes to what we're about to go into next, because what's pissing me off is the main event for Extreme Rules, which is another thing. I'm not freaking watching it, because your main event is Bobby Lashley versus Roman Reigns, and in the middle of the show will be AJ Styles versus Rusev. Third or fourth match. Or start the show.
Yes.
The WWE title will start the show or be in the middle of the show. The main event will be for no championship, no number one contendership, nothing. It's just, oh, I don't like you, and I don't like you.
Yeah, Bob, take it easy, Bob.
Right. Bobby Lashley versus Roman Reigns.
Yes, I know.
They're just trying.
That just gets my.
They're just trying to do whatever they can to waste time until SummerSlam, because and it already writes itself. We know that Brock Lesnar's going to the UFC. He's back in contention because he's gone back into the testing pool. Mm-hmm. He showed up there. Way to give that away. If you really wanted to do it right, he should have lost the belt before he ever showed up on UFC television. Yeah. That's the way you do it. But now that he showed up on UFC, we know when he shows up at SummerSlam, Roman Reigns is going to freaking beat him, or it'll be him versus Roman versus Lashley, so that way, if Roman's still winning, which, by God, even though Lashley would probably be the better option, then Brock will not get pinned. I don't know what it is, because if Brock stopped too early, Vince's neck would be broke. Brock will not get pinned. If it is a triple threat, mark it down right now that he will not.
Mark it down, people.
Mark it down, write it down, circle it.
Yes.
Exclamation mark. Brock Lesnar will not be pinned if it's a triple threat, and I think that's why they're doing the Lashley and Roman Reigns thing. So that way, if Roman is the winner, he'll pin Lashley. If Lashley's the winner, he'll pin Roman. Brock will not even probably be in the ring when it happens.
But the only thing that needs to happen out of that is, like you said, if it ends up being a triple threat, if it's Roman and Lashley who get the pin, become title holders, Braun needs to walk out as your champion.
If you want to cheer, they'll cheer for Lashley if he wins. it'll automatically be a boo if Roman wins.
Oh yeah.
But
just like last time he main evented one, which was Backlash. Yeah, wow. Which the WWE title was on Backlash, right?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, okay. That's what I thought it was. I looked back to see the last time the WWE title main evented a pay-per-view. Fastlane, the last SmackDown only pay-per-view.
Oh, of course. Yeah, now
That's
that they're
your freaking title.
Now that they're combined together,
company.
he'll never be the main event guy. But it'll never be the main event title. But the funny thing is, I also read where Vince is saying that he wants AJ to have a extremely long reign with the belt, and that they have no plans of taking the belt off of him. And
I watched Rusev beat him.
Right. And I jinxed you. Sorry.
I read that too. Then Rusev,
because I read that he wished he would have signed him 10 years ago. Okay. Wonderful. That's great.
There's some money out there. You go.
Okay. You wanted to sign him 10 years ago. You wanted him to have a long reign. But does any of the title matches matter? If it's always another card, it's never the main event. And here, somebody else said, I read an article, and I like this idea. The article was talking about how they need to go back to the way the original draft was when Flair was a co-owner and he owned Raw.
Right.
Vince was a co-owner, owned SmackDown. And they had one champion. The undisputed champion went to both shows.
Right.
So at the pay-per-view, even though they were combined show pay-per-views, this month Raw's the number one contender. Whoever at Raw's number one contender faces the champion at, let's say, at Backlash.
Backlash, Unforgiven, Halloween Havoc.
Okay. And then the next month, or at that pay-per-view, SmackDown has a number one contendership match at that pay-per-view. Yeah. Well, the following pay-per-view, Extreme Rules, whatever you want to call it, the SmackDown person faces the champion. So the champion is always your main event, and you have one champion, that's always your main event. And then when that champion loses the belt, he goes back to his respective brand. But while he's a champion, can go to both shows.
I mean, that would work, yeah.
To me, I see the same thing.
Fine. I would find that at least your top title would main event the shows.
To me, I don't see a problem in doing it with, you have one WWE championship, you have one women's championship, you have one tag team championship, and then you have Intercontinental over here and US over here. So basically your champion is a champion of the company. Raw's champion, the Intercontinental champion, is basically your top champion for that show, and the US champion is the top champion for that show. And then the women in the tags also get to travel across both shows. Yeah. Because right now, the way they're treating the tag team titles, you might as well only have one belt.
That's true.
Which I understand that, we don't even see the bar right now because they're dealing with visa issues.
Right, yeah.
Okay, so that's fine. But even when they did go to SmackDown, they were on the dark match before SmackDown even started. Another thing, going back to the Superstar Shakeup.
Yeah.
They didn't do anything when they moved them to SmackDown. Like, okay, Gallows and Anderson, why haven't they been right there with AJ? Give them some TV time. Put them with AJ all the time.
That's true.
Let's put the club together.
That's true. I mean, that's true.
They're just, I don't.
It's like you have more. They have a lot of talent. They have tons of talent, but time is the enemy.
Oh yeah, they have a ton of talent. And they got the UK division, they got the NXT show, they got 205 Live. They've got all this talent, and time is an issue, and also apparently creativity is a freaking problem.
Well, we know it's a problem, and it's not going to change anything.
No,
because they don't care about ratings. They just made that $1 billion deal for Fox. So.
Right. So the way they see it is, once SmackDown moves over there, they're thinking they're going to get a 3.0, 3.5 for SmackDown. Right now, SmackDown's only at like a 2.0 to a 2.5. But they got more homes to get to. Mm-hmm. But I haven't read all the details, but even though they're moving to Friday, is it going to be live? Is it still going to be
they can't.
SmackDown live?
They cannot take it back. It cannot return back to being taped. It has to be
just
live.
Like, because if that's the case, then...
Hey, you're making $1 billion. I think you can run 2 teams.
Right.
Monday and Friday.
Just like...
so...
Just like 205 Live is going to have to either be live on Monday or live on Friday.
Yeah.
So they're going to have to move nights. So, but I mean, my thing is, okay, you have all this talent, and
they have a ton. I mean, a ton.
But here's
ton
the thing:
of talent.
they also had a ton of talent during the Hogan era, and they only had 3 people that ran creative. They had Vince, Pat Patterson, J.J. Dillon, and then later on came in Bruce Pritchard. So you're telling me that show stayed creative, stayed exciting, stayed changing up. They always had something going on.
I know. It's who you got in the back. It's who you got in the back. It's true.
But now you've got a ton of minds,
but what kind of minds
less
have you
creativity.
got?
But you still have the main minds at the top of the round. You still got people like Michael Hayes, Road Dogg, Vince, Triple H. It's like, okay, if they're still there and they're still that creative and they're still that much of a genius, what is going on here?
Political correctness.
I'm not asking for Attitude Era. I'm not.
But you can't. There's a lot of things that you thought you could do, you can't do.
I'm not asking for the Attitude Era. I'm asking for
we know
exciting.
Well, the Attitude Era, you know, it's just mostly.
I'm looking for exciting television using your talent to. Okay, here's another one. The Superstar Shakeup keeps coming up in my head. Chad Gable. He's on Raw. Whatever the show is. He's on Raw, but whatever that show is. Freaking Sunday Night Heat. What do they call the show? Main Event. Him and Michael Bennett. Main Event. What? I mean, really? The talent that they have. Yes. The talent the two of them. And you can't come up with nothing for either one of them? And, okay, here's another one. Jason Jordan is no longer injured. They're waiting for the appropriate time for storyline to bring him back. Okay, so you're telling me that he can't just show up one week and someone is... Okay, perfect. Baron Corbin's getting into an argument with Kurt Angle. Mm-hmm. Baron Corbin puts his hands on Kurt Angle. Boom! Jason Jordan's music hits. He runs out. There you go. There's a feud right there. There's a feud already. It's tailor-made. Jason Jordan versus Baron Corbin. Boom.
Oh, yeah.
And you can even go, you can start the feud, and I've got months I've got months just in 2 seconds. You have an original match.
Can't go months, people's mind.
You have an original match, and it's a regular match, okay? And then, let's say Jason Jordan wins off of a surprise roll-up or something. Your next match, Baron Corbin cheats to win. Your third match, if Jason Jordan beats Baron Corbin, he is no longer the Constable. He is out of power.
Yes.
Boom! I got 3 months for you right there. So you can bring Jason Jordan back.
It won't last 3 months, though. That'll be done in 3 weeks.
Yeah, I know.
Or a month. You know, we're throwing over something else.
But here's the thing.
Short attention spans.
But here's the thing. Okay, short attention spans.
Short attention spans.
Okay, that's fine. I'm fine with that. If you have short attention spans, you have that much talent, talent can be interchangeable. Let's keep it moving. Let's put people in stories. What is Raw about right now? The only thing Raw is about right now, Lashley, Roman Reigns, Seth Rollins. That's it.
That is true. And Braun Strowman.
Oh, and Braun Strowman. And maybe Elias.
Beating up Kevin Owens all the time.
Right. So. That's it. That's the only people. You have 3 hours and your whole show's about 4 people?
Oh, throw some women in there too. Don't get the women. Get the women.
Yeah, but
you gotta get the women in there.
Is there any major thing going on with the women?
Yeah, Alexa, Nia Jax, and Ronda Rousey. Ronda Rousey. Don't forget Ronda.
Which is she's barely on there. Even though when she signed, she said, "I'll be here every week."
Yep.
She's barely on the show.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, she should be wrestling every week, and she's not wrestling every week. Not on TV.
Oh, and of course Bayley and Sasha Banks, which short attention spans. By gosh, that's been boiling for 6 months to a year. And they finally executed it. But still, your main focus is still Roman, Bobby Lashley.
Yeah, Roman's your main focus.
Of course. Bobby Lashley, Seth Rollins, and Braun Strowman. That's it. But it's amazing, and I'm not asking for the Attitude Era, but I'm asking for a little semblance of that. during the Attitude Era, it's amazing that you had 2 hours.
Yeah.
Your talent roster was just as full with characters that are a lot bigger than these characters are now.
Mm-hmm.
And yet in 2 hours, everyone, you could literally take the roster sheet, and we got part 3 coming up, Pro Wrestling Review, and you'll see every character on Raw had a spot.
Yep.
If it was a segment, or if it was a match, or if they were on guest commentary, or they were attacking somebody, or they were just they were driving over a limo backstage, or outside or whatever,
right.
you know what I mean? There was something for everyone.
And they try to do that. They do try to do that. But it doesn't feel like you said.
It doesn't feel like they're trying.
I don't know if they have to have more commercials now or what, but you see them sometimes throw them in there, but you could throw more in there. You could have 4, 5, 6 people in the back doing something. But that's true.
Okay, but since the Superstar Shakeup, I guarantee you that on one hand, you can only count on one hand how many times you've seen, just for the example I used a while ago, Mike Kanellis or Chad Gable on Raw, on the show,
episode.
Backstage or in a match.
True. Well, Mike Kanellis,
one hand.
Yeah.
One hand.
Yeah. He may have been 5. He might have been 5.
He was in that pull apart. I know he's in the pull apart.
Yeah. Yeah, maybe 5, maybe.
But here's the other thing that aggravates me.
Chad was 11. You think Chad was picking up and then all of a sudden?
Exactly, that's what I'm saying. But that's the thing, and in the pull apart, what aggravates me about the pull apart is in all of time, the pull aparts have always been your jobbers or your lower level people.
Right.
One of the first people that ran out was Finn Balor. Now, what are you trying to tell me about Finn Balor? How does the company view Finn Balor when he is one of the first 6 people to run out into the pull apart?
Yeah.
That doesn't bode well. That doesn't make sense.
But I do like that he punched Corbin. So.
I mean, yeah, you keep going with that feud.
Yeah.
But
yeah, he was front and center out there.
This is why, even though the same talent from NXT go to Raw and SmackDown and basically are thrown into obscurity, and even Triple H said, when he started NXT and started the Performance Center, they will not be called up to Raw or SmackDown unless they have a purpose and they have a driven situation that they're going to be in. That's a lie at this point already.
Yeah.
Okay? You could go back to the Ascension and realize that's a lie. You can go back to Dawson and...
You put an Ascension in your hand, too.
Of what?
How many times they showed up on Raw?
Yeah.
The Revival, yes.
The Revival. Same concept.
They had a good 3-week run.
3, exactly, that's the problem.
2 weeks. 3-week run. Yeah, 3-week run, yeah.
Of them beating Roman here recently?
Yeah.
And that's been it? Yeah.
Which a lot of people said
Nothing to capitalize on.
A lot of people said that should happen the first week, not the second week. Everybody, the writers read everybody's review that the Rival should have snuck a win the first week, and they gave it to him the second week.
But, I mean, it just doesn't make any sense. And that is why I only watch NXT now. I watch NXT, I'm watching the UK stuff, I watch the Mae Young Classic. Anything produced through the Performance Center or NXT, I watch that. And that's it. I am, until they can pull something off that is interesting, then Raw and SmackDown is boring to me.
Well, it won't be.
There's nothing. And it frightens me to think that eventually one
They
day...
have no reason to.
Right, they have no reason to try. But that's the thing, it scares me to think that people like Aleister Black and Velveteen Dream and Ricochet are going to be on the main roster one day, and they're going to mean absolutely nothing. Johnny Gargano, Ciampa, those guys are going to go to the main roster and will be on main event.
Yep.
After this huge thing with Gargano and Ciampa, I could see them one day wrestling on main event, not meaning nothing.
That's true.
Until Vince gets off of his high horse and goes to the house, or croaks, which I'm not asking for anything like that to happen to nobody.
You trying to do
When Triple H takes over, that's the only way this is going to change. And
the idiotic daughter and the doofus son-in-law.
Yes.
The
thing that CM Punk hates, the idea that CM Punk hates, honestly, I think is the only thing that's going to save the creativity. Because it wouldn't shock me at all if Triple H goes, "Oh yeah, these Hollywood people, yeah, we don't need those writers." It would be great because you don't have all them Hollywood writers down in NXT. In those using their minds. You have maybe one writer that's for the format idea.
Okay, we'll go back to the same thing, like you said. A lot of talent, not enough time, like we said. NXT's the same way.
They have a lot of talent.
But it doesn't feel that way.
Right.
If you look at the thing, EC3 wasn't on there for a while.
Right.
But then he's on here.
And he wasn't even on the last takeover.
But it doesn't feel that way.
He wasn't even on the last takeover. He hasn't really done anything special since he's been there. But they've...
Has he done any takeovers?
I don't think... Well, yeah. The North American Championship.
Yeah, that's right.
That's the only thing he's done.
On there. I think he ain't been a takeover yet. But
that's the only main thing he's done. But... It's because it's so fast-paced, it's so exciting, there's so much stuff going on. There's so much stuff going on that one week you'll have Shayna Baszler on there, and the next week you won't see her.
No,
one week you'll have Kairi Sane, and you won't see her for 2 more weeks.
Or you have the tag champs, and then you'll have other tag teams on there. Or you'll have the North American champ, but not the NXT champ, but you have the NXT champ. Yeah, but it doesn't... It just has a different feel to it.
Right. And it's still, they still keep continuation of the story going.
Yeah.
So it's not like, okay, you may not see Aleister Black, like, okay, he wasn't in the ring for one thing, but then the other week he was backstage at walking and they were talking to him, and then Gargano walked up to him and he told Gargano, I'm going to take care of things. And then after that, because he said Gargano told him he could not let Ciampa become champion. And then Aleister Black's just walking and Ciampa attacks him. Okay? Yeah. But it wasn't, the crowd didn't see him. That was a backstage segment. They weren't in a match, but it kept the story going.
Right. I just wish, if Ciampa's winning the title, I just wish it was one takeover before. This would have been at Chicago, where Johnny Gargano could get a title shot at SummerSlam.
Gotcha.
Because right now, if it's at SummerSlam one, Johnny won't get another one to Survivor Series before he can take the title.
But do you think that it's just Gargano is going to go out there and just attack Ciampa so he doesn't win? I think he's going to interfere. And then at SummerSlam it's triple threat because Gargano interfered.
Could be. Would be nice.
Because it's on a taped episode, is it not?
I forgot about that. Right, yep.
It's a taped episode. I don't think they'll do the title change on the taped episode. I think Gargano will come out enraged.
He's no more. Johnny Wrestling's dead, pretty much gone, he said, yeah.
So he's going to be enraged. He's going to come out there and maybe even attack both of them.
Yeah, I think it's just both of them.
Just go crazy and attack both of them.
Because you see him, you understand him, okay, he's taking Ciampa. You know why he's taking Ciampa, because of what Ciampa did. But attack Aleister, that would throw a monkey wrench into it that he's not, he's not what he used to be.
Right.
So.
And he could even think, let me hit Aleister first because he'll win by disqualification, not Ciampa.
Yeah.
But I think if he attacks both of them, they both have a beef with him at that point, and then you have a triple threat. And then Aleister does not have to get pinned for one of them to win and become new champion.
And he won't get a title shot rematch because he'll probably just be caught up.
Caught up out of nowhere. Just like almost didn't get a rematch. Or was it Drew? Yeah, Drew didn't get one either. Because once he got healed, he just come up to the main roster.
Almost didn't get his. He just come up to the main roster. Like, okay here. But yeah, that was part one. I mean, we could go on for another 30 minutes. We could
definitely go on forever because literally none of this stuff makes any sense. Like the way they're doing things. It's like if they see that NXT is working, and I understand that their thought process is...
They had pulled up a main guy from NXT, didn't they? Huh? He went to SmackDown. A main writer was pulled up to SmackDown.
Yes.
Then you do. I mean, I hate to.
But he wasn't the only. He's not the only writer there.
Right, but I hate to suck from the NXT. But hell, it helps Raw and SmackDown suck them, bring more people into NXT, and fire some people.
But I think that would be a good way to help the product is let one, because it's only really one main writer, and then the rest are wrestling minds that are in NXT.
Right.
So rotate them around.
Maybe you need to do that. That gives something. I mean, you go off the heart of Raw, you write a story, and hours before it, time for it to do it, Vince comes in and changes everything. That would drive you. That would drive you crazy.
Right.
I mean, switch them up. Yeah, give them a break. Send some of the Raw and SmackDown people just NXT. Let them have a break. Let them be more of a break.
And my thing
Refresh
is,
yourself with newer talent too.
if you've got 5, let's just say you have 5 Hollywood writers on Raw, 5 on SmackDown, you don't need that many.
No.
You need 1 Hollywood type writer, and then you need 4 to 5. You can have 4 or 5 wrestling minds in there, so that guy's coming up with the story.
Now, I guess Mick Foley's son's still part of it. I haven't heard any. I don't know if he's still. I haven't heard either way. You know?
But you've got the guy who is coming up with the actual story part of it, and it coming up with the format. But then you got the wrestling minds that goes, okay, well, this is the way it should go, this direction and this direction. Like, I don't know if you read, but they said that someone's name was actually on the format sheets this week for Raw, and he was on there for a backstage segment. I guess that had Lashley in it, and he was also someone that was written in for the pull apart situation with Lashley and Roman Reigns,
right.
And that was Paul Heyman. He was backstage working on Raw. And they said, from what I understand now, if this article was correct, and they said that they reached out to Heyman, and he said he would rather not comment, and they reached out to WWE, and of course got no comment.
Yes, of course.
But, I mean, and I know, the thing is, you got to be careful with that, because they'll let Heyman go so far, and then they'll pull him in, and then he'll just quit because he gives up on it. I mean, we saw that with ECW. We've seen that with SmackDown before. He butts heads too much with Vince. So I would much rather let Heyman go down there and work in NXT. That would be awesome.
Yeah.
Let Triple H let him go down there and just go to town on NXT. I mean, because remember what he did for OVW back in the day when you had people like Matt Capitelli, which we'll talk about him soon, and Johnny Jeter and Seth Skyfire and CM Punk and Paul Burchill and Katie Lee, and they said that OVW, when Heyman was in charge of it, had such a different feel to it.
Oh yeah.
And it makes me think of like the NXT that we have now. If they would just let Paul do what Paul does and have. Okay, I understand having him pulling the reins.
Yeah, you have to. Yeah, you have to rein him in a bit, but still.
But not so much so like how Vince.
But if he gives you 75% of stuff, don't cut it down to 25%. You know. Well, I thank you for all this, but I'm only going to take this a little bit.
Exactly.
This over here was good. Let's do this
right.
So yeah.
But anyway,
that's it for part 1.
Yes, it is.
And like I said, the shake-up and the WWE title. You know, what is it good for? Absolutely nothing right now.
Exactly.
Okay, they're going, well, AJ and Rusev, they haven't much bill for that. I don't give a rat's ass, have no bill for it. It's the WWE title. Last.
Right.
Sorry. At least, hey, maybe the surprise is to do the Intercontinental title, which is still something from Raw. Right. It's always seemed to be wrong. Raw guy wins the Battle Royal. Raw guy wins the bank. Raw guy.
Both matches on the kickoff show are both SmackDown matches.
Yeah, that's what pisses me off.
Yeah.
That's why everybody loves SmackDown, because they're treated like the redheaded stepchild.
Yep. That's why, if you ever notice, that's how they got all excited about Daniel Bryan, because he was always pushed down. He wasn't treated right.
Well, always getting pushed down, not treated right. Come on.
But it's
by the authority.
Fake. It's not real.
Right.
It's not the real. They have the concept of, we're trying to do the Daniel Bryan thing, but the Daniel Bryan thing was authentic.
Yes.
There's a difference.
Well, I'm Mike Hogan.
And I'm Justin Carter.
We'll be back for part 2, the report. Or part 2, yes. People think, this first part this was a stinker, yes. We'll see in a few clicks. What? What were you going to say?
I was like, but it's our opinion, so it is what it is. But you can give us your opinion in the comments.
It's everybody's opinion. Still the point, huh? That's better. Point thumbs.